All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game between Serejavaxta side of the map. Meanwhile, Ripley is spawning as the red human. For the sake of my sanity and tempo and pacing of the game, I'm just gonna call Sere Javaxta Java, or I'll call him Voxta for the rest of the match. As it, Voxta spawning over here as the blue orc player. Let me go ahead and change off ally colors so it's not always that classic red versus blue. All right, Voxta spawning as the orange orc player over here on the top right-hand side of the map, opening up with Altar of Storms, Barracks, and a Burrow. Meanwhile, over here on the top left, Ripley has opened up with the Barracks, Altar of Kings, double farm. No real surprises there. So Archmage gonna be trained up here. Serejavaxta. I for some reason I thought it sounded Indonesian for a second, but it could be, it could be Hindu. I'm not 100% sure. Don't really know. Archmage gonna go ahead and get trained up. There is a footman as well. Meanwhile, Barracks is still inbound, and Farseer are gonna be coming into play. Farseer harassment perhaps with a lone grunt. I don't think there's going to be a second orc burrow before the tech to tier 2. The question now is he going to or delay his voodoo lounge as well to try and get save that lumber for tier 2 and then build it later. That will limit how much harassment that Farseer can do and how much creeping it can do, as any damage will stick a little bit longer. Farseer now on the map. In comes a grunt. Coming back to the other side, Archmage now running on down, wants to clear out this mercenary creep camp as well. All right, Militia now making their way over. Footman coming back across. Are we going to see healing or trying to train up any other units? No Forest Troll Shadow Priest as of yet. There it comes on out ready to play. Meanwhile, the Farseer, alongside some Spirit Wolves and a lone grunt, is going to be getting into position. Ripley leaving one footman behind to try and engage here, getting in some damage. Meanwhile, the Spirit Wolves are going to try and engage back off as well. Ripley realizing, you know what, I need to try and defend the militia back, as the Forest Troll Shadow Priest is going to make its way back over. All right, Forest Troll Shadow Priest, what is it doing? It should not be there by its lonesome self. Water Elementals now being dropped on over, as the Forest Troll Shadow Priest needs to get healed up. Peasants actually getting in its own way, as the Forest Troll Shadow Priest now makes its way back down. All right, we're looking at Voxta trying to back up here. Double water elemental damage, constantly putting pressure. No arcane tower here at all, and the worker count on Ripley is at 15, so that is rather high at this point, with more trying to be trained, which means that an expansion should be coming in as well. All right, Farseer looking to back up again. Yeah, nice worker blocking, trying to use the SimCity, your natural defense of your buildings, providing you a lot of extra room to maneuver, protect your assets while being able to engage against your opponent's assets. Farseer down to the south side here, perhaps going to be picking up a Forest Troll Berserker. A nice power burst in damage in the early stages of the game. 450 hit points, 28 to 37, and damage at this point with average attack speed. So so with that average attack speed, it actually deals a fair bit of damage against these units while creating a little bit of separation. Militia now trying to make their way over, and all Voxta is doing is really trying to delay this expansion to the south, trying to punish this expansion as much as possible, as the tech to tier 2 is nearly done. Farseer, however, still sitting only at level 1, could try and clear out the Ogre Warriors off to the north to get a little bit of extra experience, delay the experience on the second hero, as the Farseer doesn't have access to Chain Lightning yet. All right, Grunts unable to get inside here, and this is a classic play by Human. Human, knowing that Grunts are a little bit larger in girth than Militia and Footmen, this Grunt cannot get behind enemy lines. Only the Wolves can do exactly that. And so far, Ripley is handling this harassment like a pro. He has level 3 on the Archmage, already. Level 2 water elementals, the spirit wolves, are not going to be able to do very much. And to add a little bit more healing and longevity to the archmage, he has a ring of regeneration on that archmage to shrug off a little bit more damage. However, we are going into a Tauren chieftain, we are going into a Tauren totem and a bestiary as well. So spirit walkers and raiders and grunts. Well, actually, kind of curious about this. Tauren Totem does normally indicate Spirit Walkers with Spirit Link, but without the Shadow Hunter and Healing Wave, how effective is Spirit Link going to really be? Yes, it will spread out that damage, but if there's no easy way to spread out all of that damage, then that's a problem. Oh, Ripley sleeping on the job right there, and well, quickly finds himself on the wrong end of the Tauren chieftain, getting stomped and surrounded as he now tries to, as he now scrolls of town portals to save that hero. We are sitting at level 1. Or tier 1 here. Ripley needs to start mining here as well. Get some things going. This economic advantage can translate to a victory, but at the same time, the tech advantage of Orc can do the same. We are going into the Tauren totems with Spirit Walkers, Wind Riders getting added into the mix, and we're looking at, well, footmen and all of this engagement ready to go ahead and start fighting. Water elementals are going to be the main counter to those Wind Riders. Footmen do not have defend, but Orc burrows, classic Orc play or classic play, put pressure on the burrows while there is not fortified armor. All right, Water Elemental going to turn back around, trying to take down the Spirit Walker. The Spirit Walker going to go, no, tries to go into ethereal form, doesn't do it in time, and now that's going to be lost as well. One Wind Rider here trying to, well, finish off some footmen. That's going to get taken down. Where is the rest of the Orc army? Orc army finally shows up to the south side here. 41 supply, 42 supply, as another Orc burrow could get taken out. A Water Elemental going up against a Wind Rider. The Wind Rider only has 349 hit points, and that is piercing damage, so that is rather quite high here, as the Water Elemental doesn't have the range to compete with that Wind Rider. 450 compared to 300. All right, massive repairs are underway. 2 Water Elementals in the air trying to finish this off, and it looks like the Orc burrow, that last burrow, will be able to be held. 38 supply compared to 35. As well, Vaxta in a little bit of trouble, will need to build 2 additional Orc burrows before it can train up any extra units. During this time, what is Ripley doing? He is setting up additional towers behind this and building up a lumber mill as well to get up guard towers in addition to those arcane towers. Yeah, that slight delay on the Wind Riders is going to be a very big deal indeed. Spirit Walkers do have adept training, but well, with no Spirit Walkers out on the map, it doesn't really seem like it's going to matter. Where is Ripley's army? Army is Archmage, Footman, and 1 Forest Troll Shadow Priest. We're looking at Riflemen now getting trained up, but it doesn't seem like that army is... Where is that army?
Work complete.
28 supply army. There is an Archmage, no Mountain King being trained. Yeah, no second hero. Is anyone else confused by the supply count? Ripley has 48 supply. I see an Archmage, Forest Troll Shadow Priest, Footman. This does not look like a 40 supply army. I do not see... Well, no, maybe that is. It's... Ripley has 28 workers. All right, so Ripley... Yeah, no, the numbers were reversed for a second. So, I read it in my head. The numbers were reversed. It's 28 workers compared to 12. Ripley trying to retreat back down. Tauren Chieftain was about to land down a stomp there. Archmage now trying to... Yeah, like, I'm not expecting to see 28 workers out of a 54 supply army. That just doesn't happen. Tauren Chieftain about to throw down a stomp. Tauren Chieftain about to get there. Is he going to be able to throw down the stomp? No. Archmage able to run away while the Tauren Chieftain is in the process of putting down stomp. We are looking at 4 riflemen. Riflemen do not have, well, what is it with not getting a range upgrade on riflemen's on my channel this week? All right, riflemen actually having less range than the Wind Riders. Farsi are going to be forced to try and retreat back here. Taking down a grunt or just taking down any unit would be a very big deal here, as the Archmage should be able to finish things off. Yeah, he was supply blocked. He was supply blocked. Could have gotten the long range weapons upgrades while the rifleman, while he couldn't train a rifleman. All right, Voxa sitting at 41 supply. RiplEy sitting at 57. Down here, coming back across, Great Hall being established down to the south. We're looking at a stronghold here as well. Orc burrows being established up. Altar of Storms, all of this just, well, ready to go. Archmage does finally pick up a scroll of Town Portal. He's not going to make that same mistake twice. He wants to make sure he's not going to easily be surrounded, especially with... Oh, there's a Tome of Knowledge. Especially with raiders now joining in on the battlefield with Ensnare. The sudden surround on the Archmage at this stage in the game isn't really that sudden, to be honest. You should be expecting these surrounds at this point in the game. All right, Murloc Nightcrawlers spreading around a whole bunch of poison love across multiple units. Pure up the vitality, finally being dropped. Tech to tier 2 is done with Mountain Kings and dual Arcane Sanctums opening up tier 2. Tauren Chieftain still sitting on 1 base so far, so he's avoiding taxes. We are looking at 2 level 3 heroes. The Tauren Chieftain has taken a little bit of a lead. Tome of Knowledge, is that going to be picked up by the Tauren Chieftain? Yes, it is, as he gets an additional 15 mana. All right, if that Tauren Chieftain ever gets a last-second stomp because of extra mana capacity, well, we will know where he got that mana from. Tome of Knowledge, a very big deal right here, as we are looking at the Tauren Chieftain about to line up a massive stun. All right, waiting for the units to come in. There comes the Wind Riders. There's the stun right there. Tauren Chieftain able to stun down over 15 supply in just a matter of seconds. However, the Riflemen finally able to fight back. They do have that long range upgrade. Manual of Health perhaps picked up by that Tauren Chieftain again. Forcing a Scroll of Town Portal. Good trade once more. More Riflemen. So it is a rifle caster strategy as the Archmage now makes its way back across. Okay, Mountain King getting in a position here. Water Elementals going in for the fight here. There's a Store Bolt onto the Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain taking a lot of damage. Is he going to be able to back up? Yes, we are. We're going to see a Spirit Link. We're going to see a Stomp from the Tauren Chieftain. And there it goes, able to stun things down. Are we going to perhaps try and Storm Bolt again? Yes, going after the Raiders instead. Lightning Shield now on the Tauren Chieftain, adding a little bit more damage if you're just standing next to him. It could take down one of his own grunts, though. I believe it might, as Spirit Link is perhaps the only thing that's saving him. One grunt down to 2 hit points, and somehow still alive, finally getting splashed in the face. Archmage sitting at level 5, level 3 Water Elementals now onto the table here as the Tauren Chieftain tries to retreat back. Rifleman trying to shoot in the back of a grunt, but the Spirit Link spreading that damage across multiple units. Farsi or Tauren Chieftain retreating back to the bottom right-hand side of the map. Voxta having an expansion with real no defense here. It's RiplEy who has essentially set up another base on the bottom left. Guard towers, Arcane Vault to try and heal up. Mountain King only being at level 1, though, is a bit of a problem. It doesn't have the Storm Bolts or the powerful Storm Bolts or the Thunderclap that it needs in order to try and shut down Voxta's army. Voxta, however, is still only sitting at 44 supply compared to 69, but the overall army size is 31 supply compared to 43, as RiplEy has way too many workers. He's sitting on over 1,000 gold and 26 workers at this point. Yeah, I don't know if you need that many. What is it? Yeah, I guess. What is it? 24, 22 to 24 seems about the right number, especially if you can get the lumber upgrade from the lumber mill to try and speed up the harvesting. All right, Torrent Chieftain now going to make its way through. There's a stomp coming down. Archmage quickly says, you know what, I don't want to be here, as the Scroll of Town Portal leaves behind 4 peasants. All right, no one left behind unless you are peasants walking from home. That's going to give level 4 to the Farseer. Other militia back here. Wow, the Tauren Chieftain able to finish off a large number of units. That is one way RiplEy could have cleared up some of his additional workers, but, well, giving your opponent free experience is not a good idea either. Coming into this engagement, well, 50 supply compared to 71. What are Voxta's strategies at this point? Raiders, grunts, Spirit Walkers going to be moving together. However, they're going up against an army of riflemen casters. Sorceress count seems a little bit low, but RiplEy's army wants to try and win in what appears to be a war of attrition. By winning a war of attrition, he could, well, easily... he could, by trying to play a war of attrition strategy, he could essentially just heal up and try and engage once his opponent's all of that mana is gone. Scout Tower is now being placed down as well. Peons could easily get finished off. There's a Stormbolt onto the Farseer, but that's more of a cautionary tale or a way to burn some extra mana, since the Mountain King was getting close to maximum mana anyways, with level 2 Brilliance Aura to back it up. All right, more damage getting added on through. Archmage should be dropping in some more water elementals. A lone grunt rushing on in. That's going to get taken out quickly, as disenchants going down across the water elementals. You need to separate those as well to make sure that the Spirit Walkers use more mana there. Mountain King gets up to level 2. Tauren Chieftain, however, is at 5, and we've seen how game-changing a level 5 Tauren Chieftain can be. Tauren Chieftain at level 5 completely, well, surrounded deep behind the enemy line, and is going to perhaps try to line up another stomp there. Got a little bit too close to the grunts, didn't really need it, as the Mountain King about to get taken out. One more shot, there it goes, as the Mountain King, well, falls. Tauren Chieftain is at level 5, uses a potion of mana to try and, well, able to stay around a little while longer. Archmage gets disenchanted. He was invisible for a second. A blind disenchant right there, as the units are now trying to retreat back. Guard towers trying to get constructed here. They're going to end up getting taken out. Peasants joining in on the fight here to try and take down a building, but that's not going to work out well either. Tauren Chieftain down, or up to 90 mana. Riflemen now need to retreat back. This should be some easy plays. The Tauren Chieftain, well, throws down a stomp to, well, ensure one final shot and kill onto this last rifleman. Oh, yes, does get it taken out alongside, well, another water element there. Farseer now at 5. 2 level 5 heroes going up against a level 5 and a dead level 2, who is currently most likely being resurrected, as the Tauren Chieftain reaches the halfway point at this Goblin Merchant Shop. Meanwhile, back here, RiplEy's guard tower was taken down. Guard tower is out. A lot of peasants there as well, as the, well, workers, as the riflemen, sorceresses, and priests getting ready to push on through. Mountain King Resurrection nearly completed. 68 supply compared to 60, and RiplEy is now starting to fall behind. Voxta, having the larger supply army and with the more powerful heroes, seems to be in the driver's seat of this game. We are only at Stronghold, and we don't have fortified upgrades on those burrows. So, well, if RiplEy wants to get back into this, he could easily use that same tactic and then try and shut down Orc burrows again. We are looking at just a lot of damage being absorbed here, as Voxta really wants to mine from this great hall. But, well, RiplEy doesn't want to make it easy for him. Tauren Chieftain, low on mana, once again tries to move to the very back. Spellbreaker is going to start attacking the Tauren Chieftain, and that's exactly what you need to see, making sure that Tauren Chieftain, it never gets up to 90 mana when it is in that backline spot. Tauren Chieftain about to throw down a stomp here. Is it going to be able to do exactly that? Yes, it does. Gets a massive stomp along the backside here. And, well, you see so many low hit point casters, invisibility across across the casters there. Brilliant use, but the Tauren Chieftain still gets up to level 6. Both sides are at tier 2. Tauren Chieftain is at level 6, and somehow Voxta is making this strategy work. A bunch of low hit point grunts because of that spirit link. He doesn't have access to the Shadow Hunter's healing wave, which would normally be targeting these lower hit point grunts, but it is still somehow working. We don't see that many use of scrolls of healing either in this matchup, as the Tauren Chieftain and should be looking to dive on into a battle very, very soon. How do you deal with a level 6 Tauren Chieftain? Yeah, how would you deal with a level 6 Tauren Chieftain? The only real way to deal with him is to make sure he doesn't have mana. Minimizing the Tauren Chieftain's mana and making sure you have enough spell breakers that it's only down to 1 or 2 stomps instead of 3, well, instead of 4 to 5. That will greatly change the impact on that game. Tauren Chieftain is, well, currently invisible. Potion of invisibility, allowing that Tauren Chieftain to say, surprise, you're grounded. You're not going anywhere. All right, Tauren Chieftain waiting to say exactly that. There's the Stormbolt. There was a Stormbolt in the process, but it never really got off. Tauren Chieftain is right there. Scroll of Town Portal trying to get back. Mountain King throws down a Thunderclap, gets a Stormbolt off onto the Tauren Chieftain, and then escapes away, hiding behind his guard towers. All right. The surprise factor is gone, but damage was dealt. RiplEy back up to 80 supply as well, as that Mountain King, well, was able to use that Thunderclap, slow the units around him, thereby giving him enough time, or giving the Scroll of Town Portal enough time to take him away. All right, RiplEy now down to only 13 workers, which is the reason why his army now just seems so much larger. RiplEy at some time had 28 workers, and at 28 workers, even at 80 supply, your army size is just not that small, not that impressive. RiplEy now banking 1,200 gold. 1,200 gold. That doesn't need nearly as many lumber harvesters, and he's even bringing in the last 3 as well. All right, I guess he must understand, you know what, the gold mine off to the north is nearly finished mining. Those can go back onto lumber if I need. Let's bring in militia, and, well, they'll see what they can do. Water elementals off to the north here. Militia trying to engage. Militia just causing a little bit of traffic, and I don't know if there's people with guns, people with swords, people with weapons, and you send in 3 militia first. They just must feel like cannon fodder. Spellbreaker. Oh, retrained a blizzard. Retrained a blizzard by the Archmage, as the Archmage now, trying to continue this fight here. Spellbreaker trying to remove all of that mana, as that mana is going to be the main issue. Where stomps and raiders and snares are going to be the main issue here. Archmage is going to turn around and try to throw down another blizzard, and this is the perfect spot for another blizzard. Tauren Chieftain does have a potion of mana, uses the potion of invulnerability, and then the potion of mana right behind it, as the Archmage is trying to get into position here and throws down a couple of blizzards as well. Stormbolt onto a grunt, and RiplEy with the reversal, able to add up a lot of damage and just cranking up the damage to 11 with that blizzard. All right, blizzard still raining down here. Tauren Chieftain, there's an ensnare. Tauren Chieftain gonna throw down a stomp there. Archmage is in a little bit of trouble. Of lesser invulnerability, taking down a raider. Potion of lesser invulnerability there, and now raining down blizzard as he gets up to level 6. Mountain King in a little bit of trouble, trying to retreat away. Thunderclap onto a Mountain King. Mountain King runs away at 13 hit points. Is he going to be able to make it? No, he is not. Mountain King falls again, as the Farseer is now at level 6 as well. 2 level 6 heroes going up against a level 6 Archmage. Potion of lesser invulnerability. This could be the beginning. Or Spellbreakers, they could easily just try and put pressure back. Tauren Chieftain has to be ignored. 45 supply compared to 44, as the units are, well, retreating here. All right, if you like to see units die, well, you're a bit of a masochist, but at the same time, or is it a sadist? Sadist. If you like to see units die, well, you got to see a lot of that there, both sides. Yeah, sadist. I was like, as soon as I like, I guess if you like to see your own units die, you're a masochist. But if you just like to see units die, you're a sadist. Yeah, as soon as you know.
Ready to ride.
Yep. All right, Tauren Chieftain, Farseer, all here, hanging back, getting a little bit of gold once more. Voxta having the supply lead, and it looks like RiplEy is actually just banking on his gold. There's only about, what, 2.5 minutes of mining left at the expansion for human. Meanwhile, a whopping 10 minutes for Voxta. This is that uncomfortable situation when you play a game on Echo Isle and you realize you took your expansion too early and was in low upkeep too early, as all Voxta needs to do is keep his opponent in check. Make sure that he doesn't max up to an 80 supply army. He doesn't really have to pot commit or really risk anything in a battle. Just move in and play conservatively at this point. It's kind of like playing a game in football. When you are up, you play a little bit more defensively, and you can kind of watch the clock. 2-0, and that's how you can just hang back here. Tauren Chieftain about to engage here in just a moment. There is no arcane sentry on these towers, and after you've already been hit with an invisible Tauren Chieftain, Arcane Sentry Magic Sentry is an important addition. We're looking at RiplEy finally going into low upkeep here. He knows that he needs to at least train units, so he's training units right behind this, trying to get back up into 60 supply here in just a moment. He's sitting on 1,000 gold, and well, what is his follow-up play? Training up more Spellbreakers and more Riflemen. That's going to be another 9 supply. He's going to jump up to, 68 here in just a second, and then perhaps be able to jump up to 77 here in just a little bit more. All right. Spellbreaker, Riflemen. Trying to add up a little bit more gold. This may be the last stand. Tauren Chieftain is right here as well. The back line is standing right next to an invisible Tauren Chieftain. A reveal right here, or Arcane Sentry coming online. A random Dust of Appearance would be huge. Mountain King also playing the invisible boo strategy. But who tells the story better? I don't know. My money is on a level 6 Tauren Chieftain as opposed to a level 3 Mountain King. But, well, I guess I'm not going to even say my bias is telling me that the Tauren Chieftain is going to do it better. My experience is going to telling me that it's going to do it better. All right. A random Dispel magic would actually have been absolutely hilarious. Tauren Chieftains, the invisibility potion came to an end. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. The invisibility potion came to an end, and that's why the Tauren Chieftain needed to back away. All right. Coming back in from behind, here we are. Tauren Chieftain gonna lay down a stomp. There is a thunderclap. Tauren Chieftain trying to wait for the first blizzard. There you are. The Tauren Chieftain is still not doing very much of anything. Waiting for perhaps a second blizzard. There is a stomp instead. There's a thunderclap, and that was a little bit of a delay on that Tauren Chieftain Archmage. I thought he was gonna wait for a blizzard to be cast before stomping. No blizzard, and now finally throwing another stomp there. Blizzard now raining down 77 supply compared to 57. Voxta was not ready to engage in that battle. I feel like he just had a false start and was not properly set up when the play began. Tauren Chieftain trying to head back on over. Chain Lightning now bouncing around. Tauren Chieftain losing a little bit of mana. And RiplEy now with the 72 supply compared to 56. There is going to be a retreat back. There is no more gold in the gold mines at all. And this is where it's all going to come down to. 7 minutes of mining left. 7 minutes where Voxta has to restabilize and then use his economy to get an advantage. Is it going to work? Farseer going to try and engage here as we're looking at the Tauren Chieftain throwing down a stomp there. Chain Lightning bouncing around. An army of massive Spellbreakers. No Taurens to be seen as Blizzard now raining down there. Stormbolt, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability dodge there as the Mountain King could get taken down. Stormbolt, Chain Lightning trying to finish off the Mountain King. Mountain King, it looks like it's going to get down to 12 hit points, and Stormbolt's the Tauren Chieftain in a last-ditch measure. Mountain King uses a potion of mana, was about to try and do something else, but the Farseer was still able to finish it off. 60 supply compared to 41. Units are just running around. Tauren Chieftain without mana gets up to level 7 as the units are still fighting and engaging. Tauren Chieftain trying to finish off a couple of units here as it's going to take down another Sorceress again. All right, army, 53 supply compared to 40. 47 supply army compared to 26. The supply count is deceiving because Well, the number of workers Voxta has is significantly larger. Peon still working here. Blizzard now raining down. It looks as though we are going to have a bunch of dead peons here in just a moment, as it is now mass teleport level 7 with perhaps level 3 Brilliance Aura. Plenty of mana for days now on all of these priests. And with all of that mana, things are just going to go a bit sideways here. Tauren Chieftain trying to get in position. Are we going to see a last-ditch stomp? Voxta looked like he was in a commanding control, but the army of massive Spellbreakers with no Tauren to keep them in check, really, the Tauren Chieftain, which doesn't keep the Spellbreakers in check, causing a bit of an issue. No tech to tier 3 either, so yeah, no chances for Taurens at all. All right, the sudden transition or the change into massive Spellbreakers with only 0-1 upgrades. Archmage just trying to get gold any way he can, and by taking down creeps, he does get a little bit of gold here. Archmage picks up a Tome of Strength and now continuing that chase once more. Peasants doing a long distance mining from the enemy base. All right, so long distance mining from the enemy base in order to mine more gold and try and get that Mountain King back out onto the battlefield. All right, Tauren Chieftain gets in a stomp onto the Archmage. Is that Archmage going to get ensnared? Yes, he is. Tauren Chieftain doesn't really care. Are we going to see an ensnare? Mountain King, oh, stomp onto the Archmage. Archmage gets taken down. Archmage now taken down, and what do you do against a level 7 Tauren Chieftain? Voxta wins. Voxta with amazing timing. Understanding the Archmage. Stomps, waits, ensnares, sees the mass teleport. The Tauren Chieftain stomps again. The stun lasts long enough. And with no Archmage, that's the Spellbreakers are not really... Yeah, like the Tauren Chieftain is never going to die to Spellbreakers without stun, without any source of additional damage. Farseer, yeah. I'm trying to come up with a summary, and yeah, that game. This game was a hidden gem. Like this game was a hidden gem, a very strong game between these two players, or very entertaining game. I don't necessarily want to say strong. There were mistakes made by both sides, but an extremely wait, is that a... Yeah. So yeah, great game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That was an absolute blast to cast and watch alongside you guys. Yes, this is a Back to Warcraft hoodie. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I'm trying to recap that, but there were plenty of lead changes, right? Like, I think this would be equivalent to any professional sport game where there was lead, like it was 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, 5-4, right? And then just a really good comeback in the end. And then your star player gets injured in the final game, and it's game 6 of a best of 7 series, and you know that you're going to lose that last game without your star player. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was absolute blast to cast alongside or cast with you guys. Yep. Check out more videos.